Hello, Nigerians. Hello, beautiful CrossRiverWatch. Welcome to episode 2 of Weekend File on CrossRiverWatch Radio and Television. I am your host. My name is Victoria Efio. Weekend File is a program that is poised to bring you the biggest news that happened in the past 7 days in Cross River State and in the Niger Delta region. As usual, we bring you a guest analyst to give us an in-depth analysis of the news beyond the headlines. And today promises to be interesting. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles. We are at CrossRiverWatch on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And also download the CrossRiverWatch news app for a wonderful news experience. I'm going to move straight ahead to the most trending stories of the week. Justice A.K. Kufre removes Uche Secondus as PDP national chairman, bars him from seeking re-election. The deceived General Iron to his death by Atta Ochinke. Policy alerts budget brief, Cross River State moving beyond bombastic budgeting. We're going to take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll continue with the rest of our stories. Welcome back to Weekend File on CrossRiverWatch Radio and Television. My name is Victoria Evion, and thank you for staying tuned. This is a breaking news story. Governor Yade assigns to legislative and judiciary autonomy bills. It's that time on the show where we get to bring you up close and personal with our guest analyst, and he's seated with me in the studio already, so I will just introduce him. Joining us for the first time on the show today is Cross River State Correspondent for the Leadership newspaper and the Secretary of the Correspondents Chapel of the NUJ Cross River State. He is Richard Ndoma. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for giving me this rare privilege.
It's always a pleasure to see you, comrade. Okay, so I'm just going to go through a couple of headlines, then I'll allow you to react to them. So back to stories coming from Cross River State and beyond. Duke Imoke Ayade's imminent showdown in Cross River State. And over now to the Leadership newspaper. France and Cross River collaborate on waste to electricity project. Cholera. 23 states, FCT record 58,698 cases, 2,035 deaths. 8 states submit NSAS reports to National Executive Council. Federal government and Cross River to build 1,000 social housing units. Now, comrade, a lot has happened in the past 7 days. Let's begin with the first headline for today. Justice A.K. Kufre removes Uche Secondus as PDP national chairman and bars him from seeking re-election. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's one of those things, maybe perhaps to revamp or to bring back the lost confidence on the populace. The electorates have been crying that, look, things have not been done the way they ought to be. So maybe it's an avenue by the CGN to get things done properly. Well, you see, in Nigeria, so a lot of things have gone wrong. You see, one time they say Secondus is out. At the other time, you see Secondus in again. Maybe the CGN wants the actual thing to be done so that the confidence reposing the judicial system can be brought back.
Okay, so for you, it's all about restoring confidence. Another thing that happened within the week, it was received in certain quarters with mixed reaction. I feel a couple of persons were, judging from the reactions to the news stories, happening online, a lot of persons seem to be, happy about it, while some other persons had mixed feelings. We're talking about General Iron, the death of General Iron. How did you receive that?
Well, it's one thing that just like the days when Abacha gave up, there was jubilation. I have never seen somebody, a young man, who is so energetic, was also in government. Immediately he died, there was serious jubilation in his hometown, Okoboshi. It was a terrible situation. I even made calls to certain persons. I come from Ikom. Ikom was, and Buki used to be under the same local government, the same LGA. Boki was in short, indeed carved out from Ecom. I made some calls to confirm, and I was told that Ion was dead. I even had jubilation on the background, noise on the background of the person, the recipient of my code. I was shocked. General Ion has just killed himself because he was given the privilege that even most educated people never got. The Palm Estate, their unsaddled Boki Palm Estate was handed over to him. He was in charge of forest security so that those illegal loggers can be halted. I know even at that he was making money for himself. He became so rich, I had even recognized him. I learned there was a time the governor went to his village. He even met with him first before meeting with other persons. All that one was to probably make him to become a better person, to turn a new leaf. But he didn't listen. He went ahead maiming people, killing people. We even learned that he had one place in the forest where if men see you in the train, he will say that you are a witch and he will carry you to kill. Even when the military and the security operatives were invited to the community, having beaten the former two-time legislature, the person of Mark Obi, beaten him to a pulp, and then he ran into the forest. The security operative, as they came, he was nowhere to be found. After spending 1 or 2 weeks, they left the community. The next, he returned back with his guns, shooting everywhere, and engaged some youth in a battle, a very fierce battle, leading to the death of one traditional ruler. So the security operative returned back and then got him killed. So, well, not from sources that a joint task force of security operatives and their local vigilante got him killed. It's a very sad story. It's such a story that it should be like an eye-opener, a bitter lesson for the young ones who are coming up. That alone should deter people. In fact, his death is going to serve as a deterrent to others who may want to do his part and all that.
Okay, that's right, because I was about to ask you what are the lessons to learn in all this. Okay, that's great. Thank you for sharing, because I was about to ask you what are the lessons to be learned in the whole General Ion saga. Now let's move to the breaking story. Finally, Governor Yade assents to legislative and judiciary autonomy bills.
It's a very welcome development. It's one of those things that our people have been yearning for. It's what we have been looking for, this autonomy of the judiciary, so that they can be on their own. You know what independence can bring about. They don't need to act as stooges before any executive power. With that, so many things are going to happen in the state. So many things are going to happen in the judiciary system, a situation where they have to go begging from the executive arm of government to enable them function. It's not good for our own judiciary system.
Okay, but over time, bills are assented to, but it's more like paper policy. Do you have any doubt in your heart that this could be one of those situations where it's only done in paper but not in reality?
Well, we still have time to look at it, but I just believe that the right thing is going to be done, because those guys are not stooges. They are not stooges. They have been in the judicial system. This is what they have been looking for. They have been yearning for. They have been crying. They have been in the public are crying, especially with those of them in the judicial system. In as much as that power has been granted them, so many things are going to happen. But we cannot just run it to a conclusion at this level. We too have to monitor, we have to watch and see what's going to happen.
Well, if you just tuned in, this is Weekend File on CrossRiverWatch Radio and Television, and Live on set is the correspondent for the leadership newspaper for Cross River State, and he's also the secretary of the Correspondent Chapel of the NUJ in Cross River State, Richard Ndoma. So quickly, we're going to run into the leadership publication. Let's look at the trending stories and also get his reaction. Federal government and Cross River to build 1,000 social housing units from the leadership paper. Also from the leadership, 8 states submit NSAS reports to National Executive Council. 23 states, FCT record 58,698 cases, 2,035 deaths of cholera. France and Cross River collaborate on waste to electricity project. And still from the leadership newspaper, court orders Rivers APC reports 5 judges to the NJC. Let's start from the collaboration on waste to electricity project because CrossRiverWatch have been crying out. It seems we're running out of places to hide our trash.
Well, it's a very sound development, it's a welcome development. We know even when Ayade came on board as state governor, he did promise that he's going to change waste, turn waste into money. And money could be electricity, it could be anything. Even thank God the opportunity has not come for these French investors who have said they want to turn our waste product into electricity. It's one thing that people have to jubilate. You know too well that another thing that even that is most striking, that inspired me with this very report is that when there's too much of waste in a particular environment, even the children cannot even learn. Their learning capacity will be low because the odor has some gases. I think those gases, they are genesis, which are very harmful to the human brain and other human reasoning, especially with the kids. So it's a welcome development.
Okay, so it's a welcome development, but there are some questions. People are asking, why France? Why does it have to take another country coming in to collaborate with us? We have Nigerians that are currently converting waste into cooking energy. We have Nigerians that can do that. We have companies that could, undertake that project. Why must it be France?
Well, France, if you look at their technological advancement, is more sophisticated than the country, the mushroom companies around here. I'm not saying that they are not good. They are coming after all. Even France, the world power started from somewhere. But at this level, if you keep the local companies, our own companies here, and the French company, of course, you know that in terms of the technical know-how, they are more advanced in technology, and they are more than what we have here on ground. Perhaps the governor feel that bringing in the French guys, they will do a better job. And of course, you and I know that better results is what we are looking for. With good results, we won't be where we are at today.
Okay, so I'm all in for team better result as long as it works at the end of the day. Let's move aside. Let's go to the health sector now. Cholera. It seems COVID-19 came and every other disease had to take the back seat so people don't pay attention to certain things. Now we have a situation on our hands. 23 states, including the FCT, records 58,698 cases of cholera, and so far they've made 2,035 deaths.
This is what we have to thank God, that the Cross River State is loved by God. After all, not that our state is cleaner than every other state. Yes, we used to be the most cleanest state in Nigeria, but that notwithstanding, that's not to say that cholera couldn't have hit us here hard. After all, FCT is the heart of Nigeria, is the heartbeat of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yet we still have a kind of outbreak there. We should thank God. But however, we should also advise those in managing the machinery of government to ensure that cleanliness to the places have to be cleaned up and all that. The drainages have to be removed, especially now that it's raining and all that. They have to at least intensify effort in desilting their water channels, so that, because sometimes it's the environment too. We know that cholera is associated with fields. Perhaps I'm not a medical doctor by profession, but I know all health, neither am I a health official, but I know that this very ailment is associated with the field, with dirty environment. So I just feel the Ministry of Health and all that, those in charge of the health sector must intensify effort to do. They should do better. They are doing quite well, but they are good. Their good may not be best enough, good enough. What they are doing might not be good enough for them to keep the environment clean. They should do more.
Okay, speaking about the environment, there was a time in Cross River State where we used to have, general sanitation. People come out to clean their environment, and people paid more attention to their environment. You were responsible for that space outside your house. There's a gutter passing in front of your house. You're responsible for cleaning it. Do you think we should go back to those days where the government said, okay, every first Saturday, every last Saturday is for sanitation, and people actually come out to do that?
It's very, very important. Cleanliness is close to godliness. There's nothing wrong. When you clean your environment, even the air you breathe will be so very fresh. Keeping the environment clean and green in nature, there's nothing that can contest with that. I feel the government should go back to the drawing board to ensure that every place is clean. Sometimes I feel so bad when I go to the suburb of the metropolis. You see the waste bin piling up. You see they spilled. They are working. I'm not saying that those in charge of the waste management or waste disposal are not doing. They are working, but no, enough effort need to be put. And then the people too in the environment. I've seen circumstances where you are moving around, you see people just throw the beans. They will not put it into the container. They just throw it out like that. It's not healthy for our environment. What the government should do is that they should come out with a task force who go around to apprehend those who litter the environment with waste, and even the ones who are selling shops, these shops operators, because they are the major generators of this waste. When you see cartons, I know a particular street. I know not one or two streets where you see people in that area. They have shops, but they don't sweep. They hardly sweep. You see, the paper will be spilled all over the places and all that. And as human beings, right from primary school, we're taught that in the morning you have to sweep your environment. I remember those old good days when we go to the primary school, and you see maybe we sweep. But in the afternoon, you see the people who carry a small thing, pick them up, small thing, who have compound masters. We should go back to those days where we have to keep our environment clean instead of waiting for the government to come and do everything for us. Government cannot do everything for us.
Okay, just one more from the leadership paper now. Federal government Cross River to build 1,000 social housing units.
Of course, housing is one of those things that is instrumental to fiscal well-being of anybody living, particularly in Calabar, not even only in Calabar, even in our villages. Housing is important. You know what it means. A lot of people are living in destitution because they do not have houses. Not that there are no houses, but they have no wherewithal to afford good accommodations. A lot of people are living without houses. A situation where you see one single room, 10 persons living in that single room is not good for us. But if the government goes ahead to erect houses like that, and then we'll see that a lot of things will be done, our lives would have been changed.
All right, thank you. We're going to take a quick break at this point. When we come back, we'll continue with the rest of our headline stories. Welcome back to the program. We now run through our remaining headline stories. In Akwa Ibom, free education comes at a grave cost. Ayade fulfills defection promise, appoints singer Iyaya and 526 others. Cross River State Water Board Limited to partner South African company Osmotech Engineering Group for increased water supply. Welcome back to Weekend File on CrossRiverWatch Radio and Television. We still have in the studio Richard Ndoma, the Cross River State Correspondent for Leadership newspaper and also the Secretary of the Correspondents Chapel of the NUJ. So I'm about to put him on the hottest part of the seat now. How's 2021 been for the NUJ?
Thank you for that very question. 2021 is a lovely year, despite all the odds, just like every other sector. A lot of challenges and all that. We also have in the journalism sphere, we also have our own challenges. But however, we are still going to cope with it. We are all humans. We still have to devise our avenues to cope up with the challenges. We are not going to witch hunt anybody. We just came on board. Our ESCO is just barely 2 weeks old. We just headed by Mayor Fion of the Voice of Nigeria. She's our chapel chairman. I'm the secretary. We intend to work, partner with even CrossRiverWatch, partner with all bodies. We are going to collaborate with the government in order to forge ahead to move the state forward. But however, we are not going to witch hunt anybody, just like people think that these are journalists, these are correspondent chapel, they are going to witch hunt. No, we are not there to witch hunt anybody. Wherever the government performs, does well, we will jubilate with him and clap for him. Wherever he goes wrong, we'll pinpoint and tell him, sir, you've gone wrong here.
Okay, so what is the NUJ's position concerning the recent, activities of the NBC when it comes to talking about certain issues of national importance, especially on security?
Well, I cannot speak for NUJ. I can speak for Correspondent Chapel because NUJ is the umbrella body.
Yeah, like for Cross River State, NUJ, Cross River State.
Yeah, I can only speak for our chapel. Well, for our chapel, we have nothing to do. We are following events. Still have CBOs. We still have community-based organizations. We still have NGOs. We have civil society organizations who are on the other part of the activities and all that, body the society. But we can also follow when they are doing events. We collaborate with them to at least to forge ahead.
Just one other important question. As an undergraduate in the university studying mass communication and journalism, we've always wondered what does it take to be a member, a card-carrying member of the NUJ. And it seems like, other bodies like ICANN, they have a process where as soon as you're done with this is the next step and you're a part of the institution. When it comes to NUJ, how does it happen?
Well, in journalism, it's just that it is one of the first professions that I have seen. Journalism is something that is innate in somebody. A lot of people have that innate quality, but in as much as they don't have that innate quality in you, flowing in your bloodstreams, flowing in your bone marrow, there's one still need to do training and retraining. People need to undergo training and retraining. Otherwise, I'm not saying that people cannot write. You can be a good writer, you could be passionate about writing, but that singular training is very important.
Okay, and that brings us to the end of episode 2 of Weekend File on CrossRiverWatch Radio and Television. Thank you, Mr. Ndoma, for joining us.
Thank you for giving me this real privilege.
Okay, don't forget to hit like, comment. We are CrossRiverWatch on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also download the CrossRiverWatch News app for a better news experience. Till I come your way in the next 7 days, my name is Victoria Efio.
And I am Richard Ndoma.